What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Narcissist Code. I'm your favorite self-aware narcissist, Mr. Lee Hammock, better known as Mental Healness across all social media platforms. If this is your first time seeing my face or hearing my voice, I'm a diagnosed narcissist, and I use my platform on social media to raise awareness for NPD, get more people into therapy, and also validate the victims, survivors, and thrivers of said disorder. Today's episode is going to be about how some narcissists, how some toxic people like to try to trigger you on purpose. Why they like to set you off on purpose. Yes. Some narcissists, some toxic people will absolutely try to set you off on purpose. They get y'all know one of my most popular sayings since I got started on this is, if I can trigger you, I can't control you. That's exactly it right there. If I can trigger you, I can't control you. So a lot of times when a narcissistic person is triggering you, it's all about control. See if they can control your emotions. See if they can control your reactions. See if they can control your temperament and things of that nature. It's all about control and lack of control within ourselves. So a lot of narcissistic people have trouble regulating our own emotions. Like, our emotions are so up and down, left, right, slips, our emotions are everywhere. So since we can't control our emotions, we can try to control yours. Since we can't control how we react sometimes, we try to control yours. And it gives narcissistic people a sense of power, validation, and control to when they try to set you off on purpose. That's why you see a lot of stuff about, dog whistles and things like that. Like, narcissists set you, if you don't know what a dog whistle is or an inside trigger, is when a narcissistic person covertly sets you off on purpose. They covertly try to trigger a response from you or trigger a reaction from you in a public setting, or not in a public setting, in a private setting where they record you and things like that, just to make you look crazy. So they'll say something, they'll say it's like a code word to make you go crazy, a code word to make you react out of character and things like that. That's why I tell people, y'all, like, one of your greatest powers against a narcissist or a toxic person is controlling your reactions. And I know it's harder, it's easier said than done, or whatever. It's extremely hard to do, to control your reactions when you're around this type of person, especially if you don't know what you're dealing with. But controlling your reactions it's like literally, y'all, it's a superpower. It's like Superman putting his cape on or whatever, Wonder Woman with her lasso and whatnot. It's literally a superpower to be able to control your emotional reactions, or to understand what triggers you and acknowledge that your triggers exist and work on handling those triggers. Because if they cannot trigger you, they cannot control you. But if they can trigger you, they can control you. You see how that works? The opposite is true. So if you're dealing with narcissistic people, toxic people, you have to understand the dynamic, the way that it works. Some of them are going to try to set you off on purpose. They just are. They literally just are. And I tell the people all the time, like, why do they keep doing this stuff? Why do they keep pushing my buttons? Why do they get a high off of pushing my buttons? Like, they smirk when they push my buttons. They laugh when they push my buttons and I react. Yes, because to some narcissists, it's funny. To some toxic people, it's hilarious how easy you are to set you off. This is not just an intimate relationship thing. It's not an intimate partnership thing, like husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. This is this could be your dad trying to set you off on purpose. This could be your mom trying to set you off on purpose. This could be your brothers, your sisters, your coworkers, your bosses, your employees trying to set you off on purpose. Some of them, I'm just telling y'all, it sounds sinister and sick, but some of them get a high. Like, it's like a dopamine hit, a dopamine rush from setting you off. Because when they push, it's like they put in the right code, whatever, to hack into your system. It's like a computer hacker. Well, narcissistic people are emotion hackers. They put the right code into your system, like boop, 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 and then you blow up, you set off. When they get the code right, they celebrate. It's like breaking into a safe. It's like breaking into an emotional safe. They are emotional hackers that break into your emotional safe. And like boop, boop, beep, 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 boop. Your gates open. You can't control your reactions, and you explode on them. You like, rah! You turn into a damn fire breathing. I know y'all hear about the dark empath and the Hakoya empath and the super empath. You turn into the fire breathing empath, or the fire breathing survivor, or the fire breathing thriver. You turn into that when they set the code off correctly. You know what I mean? So I like to tell people, change the code. If narcissistic people, toxic people are hackers of emotions, or emotional hackers, They're trying to figure out what code it is to set you off, to get you to open up, to get you to manipulate your emotions. Change the code. Well, Lee, how do we change the code? You change the code by acknowledging that the code exists, by acknowledging that the trigger exists. You understand that the trigger exists. Something simple. Them talking about your mom. You know you had a bad relationship with your mom, or your mom passed away. That's the trigger of yours. So if they bring up your mom in an argument, like y'all are arguing and they feel like they're losing the argument, and all of a sudden they just say, well, that's why your mom unalived herself. And then here you go. You can't handle it. Roar! You turn into the fire-breathing empath. And now you're angry as hell. And they feel like they've won. They put that code in. Beep, 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 beep. They put that code in, and then you set you off. Bing, bing. And then you roar. Y'all breathing fire everywhere. And they got, look, guess what? This time, they pull their phones out and they record you breathing fire, and they threaten to show it to their friends. Like, ooh, this is gonna be a good one to show all of your friends and family. Show how crazy you are. To show them what I'm really dealing with. You know what I mean? So roar. So that's part of the dynamic right there. So if you're dealing with a narcissistic person, y'all, some of them just get a kick out of trigger you on purpose. Some of them get bored, and it's like you become their TV show. You become their entertainment. That narcissistic person will get bored and have nothing else going on. So boom, guess what? Here comes an unnecessary argument out of nowhere. Here comes a mood shifter. Here comes an unnecessary silent treatment or a rage or whatever. Here they come, y'all. They're going to keep doing it too. Well, Lee, how do we make it stop? How do we get them to stop trying to trigger us? So this is how a lot of narcissistic minds work. If one trigger doesn't work, they'll go to another one. If that doesn't work, they'll go to another one. If that doesn't work, they'll go to another one. And if they can't trigger you, sometimes they'll leave you alone. Sometimes, y'all, they'll rage out. Sometimes, y'all, they'll get violent and put their hands on you. Because if they can't control you with your emotions, if the emotional code doesn't work anymore, like boop, boop, beep, 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 beep. If they put that code in and it doesn't work, like boop, 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 beep, 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 they get too many ants. They might ball their fist up and swing it at you. Or put their hands around your throat and try to take you out of here. I'm just telling you, sometimes when they feel like they lose control of you emotionally, they try to take it to the physical. Some of them do that. Not all of them do that, but some of them very well will. Some of them will definitely, sorry, I slipped that up. Some of them will definitely take it out on you. I promise you. Some of them try to harm you physically because they're angry at you because they feel like they've lost control of you. So it's up to you. You. Like what the usher said. You. It's up to you to make the conscientious decision to acknowledge your triggers, acknowledge that your triggers exist, and to get control of your triggers, y'all. To get control of them. You know what I mean? That's how it works. That's how it would go. That's how it would work. That's how it goes on, and things like that. So I feel like where you are and who you're dealing with, you understand you. I feel like getting to know you, and so many people want to know more about the narcissist, but we're looking internally, getting to know you, understand why these things trigger you, understand why you do what you do, understand why you might still be in this toxic relationship dynamic. Understanding you is the best way to help you get self-love, pretty much. Understanding you is the best way to help you understand what you're going through and who you're dealing with and things like that. Because if not, on the other side of this is the narcissist, the toxic person that you're dealing with. They just set you off on purpose. Like I said, if one trigger doesn't work, the other trigger, they'll just keep going through the triggers, y'all. It's like a little Rolodex of triggers. They're like swiping through the triggers. Like this trigger doesn't work. This trigger doesn't work. This trigger doesn't work. This trigger doesn't work. Okay, to hell with it. And they just hit you. You think it's funny? Oh, you're not gonna react anymore? Bap, bap. They hit you with a 2-piece. You know what I mean? It's not me trying to be funny, but they will put their hands on you. I'm just telling you to always use discretion. I know y'all see my videos, y'all love my videos and whatnot. Y'all appreciate my videos. Thank y'all for those who do. But just use discretion when you're dealing with a narcissistic person, because they will put their hands on you. They will try to harm you. They will try to take you out of here. Because if they cannot trigger you, they cannot control you. And if they can, typically when they feel like they cannot control something, they get rid of it. If they feel like they cannot control a person, they get rid of that person. If they feel like they cannot trigger that person, they get rid of that person. You see how that works right there. If they cannot trigger you, they cannot control you. The power is in your hands, but you have to figure out what to do with it. Your triggers are your responsibility. They just are. You have to work on your triggers and healing the triggers, healing the wound that makes you, that triggers, that allows them to trigger and set you off. Because that narcissistic person, they're going to try to figure out, they want to know everything about you. So they can figure out the easiest pathway to triggering you and hurting you and things like that. And is that love? I know people was like, well, did the narcissist ever love me? Would you trigger somebody you love? Would you try to trigger that person on purpose because you love them so much? Would you try to trigger them? Would you try to trigger them on purpose because you care about them so much? You know what I mean? What's the dynamic that goes on with that right there? I know people ask me that all the time. Did the narcissist ever love you? That's gonna be my next video coming up here. I think tomorrow's video will be, can the narcissist love you? You know what I mean? I'll film tomorrow's video about that specific subject right there, y'all. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna cut this thing short. I have to hop out here into a Zoom call here in just a second. I still do my Zoom calls, my one-on-ones over Zoom and things like that. The link is going to be in the description of every video and of every podcast. If you're watching this on Apple Music, Spotify. Next in-person meetup is Toronto, Canada, y'all. Toronto, Canada, November the 19th. I booked my flight here tonight. Be in Toronto, Canada, November the 19th. Narc Avengers, NARC. Avengers.com/Toronto. So I'll see y'all there in Toronto, y'all. Anyway, y'all, thank you. The self-love brand is here as well. Link in the description. Thank you for everything. Like and subscribe for more. And as always, mental illness is out. Peace.